And that's why, colleagues, I seconded Councillor Peloza's motion at the committee, and I will second this motion tonight because it makes sense. And the question is really a simple one. We're going to spend $2 million of London taxpayer money, regardless of which we land on tonight. So when it's all said and done, the question is, do we want $7.5 million in assets to show for that $2 million? Or do we want $12.5 million in assets to show for it? We've got a list, and it's a great list. There's stuff in my ward there that I would really like to see. I know that there's stuff in other councillors' wards that they would really like to see. There's great things in there that are going to benefit a lot of different neighborhoods around the city. But it's a $28 million list, and they're not all going to happen. So we can spend the entire $5.5 million of the COVID resiliency fund on those active transportation projects and our $2 million in London dollars on the HVACs and get what we get. And we can do that all in the next year. Or we can get $3.5 million in active transportation projects and $2 million in HVAC from the COVID resiliency, and then take the $2 million of London dollars we haven't spent and turn it into municipal contributions to PTS funding and leverage an additional $5 million out of the senior levels of government to fund even more of the active transportation projects on that $28 million list. I think it's really important to remember we need municipal contribution dollars to get the PTS funding stream dollars. And when we, as a council collectively, had our votes around the BRT components, we collectively decided to also vote on some additional projects and allocated pretty much all of our municipal contribution funds then. So now to get access to that remaining pool of $30 million or so dollars of PTS eligibility, we have to come up with some more municipal contributions. And we have to come up with that at a time when municipal dollars just aren't laying around. This motion lets us do that. And I'll tell you, I had the opportunity to talk to Jameson Roberts today from the Cycling Advisory Committee. I appreciate him making his time with advisory committees not meeting right now. I wanted to reach out to him and ask what he thought. Would he rather have $5.5 million this year and be done, or $10.5 million over the next couple of years in active transportation projects? And of course, although he recognizes that folks may have some concerns about delay, they have the $10.5 million. Listen, colleagues, I want the Wavell bike lanes in my ward. I would like Councillor Peloza to have the Jelna lanes in her ward, and all of us to have great items that are on that list, but we don't have $28 million for that. We can get $10.5 million from senior levels of government and put a big dent in this list, or we can take $5.5 million and make a smaller impact. Personally, I'd like the bigger impact, so I hope colleagues will support this amendment.
Thank you. Councillor